Okay, so today we are talking about fall cleanups, specifically leaf cleanup. If we're doing a full fall cleanup, we're going to be cutting down perennials, trimming shrubs, which we can get into at a later date. But the first thing that we need to determine is what we're actually doing. And for that, we're going to look at our work order. All right, so when we get our work order, obviously we want to check the address, and then we're going to clock in to that job before we leave to get there. The next thing we want to look at is what type of work it is, and obviously how long we have to do it. And then we can plan the rest of our day accordingly. All right, so for this one, first thing that we're going to look at is the name. This is fall maintenance, okay? Because we need to determine, is it a cleanup? Is it just leaf pickup? So if it said fall cleanup, we'd be pretty sure that that's what we're doing, a full scale cleanup. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna look at is the title here and any of the job notes. All right, so this says leaf cleanup, and in the notes it says take leaves only. If it was, again, full fall cleanup, it would say fall cleanup, it would say cut down perennials, trim shrubs, take all leaves and debris. But we can tell right here, it just says take leaves only. Now, if you have any questions, where here it says estimator, there's always going to be a name. See who that is, feel free to call them, then we can figure it out. All right, if not, you can call the office and we can go that route. Same deal. All right, don't hesitate to reach out if there's any questions at any point. All right, so now we know leaf cleanup, taking the leaves only. Now we're looking at our time. All right, right here, we've got 3 hours. This 1 hour for truck is the way that we divide the time per crew of 3. All right, so if there's 3 labor hours, that's gonna be 1 truck hour. So if you have a crew of 3, a really easy way to figure out how long you're supposed to be on a job is to look at that truck time, okay? If you only have 2 people, it'll still say 1 truck hour, 3 labor hours, but you know we've got an hour and a half because there's 2 people instead of 3. All right, if there's 6 hours on the job and we have 3 people, 2 labor hours, sorry, 2 actual hours on the job. 6 labor hours divided by 3 equals 2. All right, so that's the first thing we got to figure out. How much time are we supposed to be here? Okay, so once we have that figured out, we can then assess the property and decide what the best plan of attack is going to be for this property. All right, now on a leaf cleanup, we're only taking the leaves. So we need to look around and we need to figure out how are we going to get these leaves out of here in the amount of time that we have. Because sometimes people don't want us to be totally perfect. Okay, this has been happening a lot more in the past couple of years. They're going away from the full scale, really nice cleanup, and they just say, hey, I want you guys to come through and get as many leaves as you can in 3 hours. All right, so now we need to meet that time, because they're not going to pay more if we sit here for 6 hours making sure everything is spick and span and perfect. All right, that's just not how it's going down. So we need to get in, get the bulk of the leaves, and get out in that time. All right, if that's what it calls for. If we have enough time, then we'll do the full scale, thing, make it look really nice. So to determine that, we need to look at our time, and then we need to assess the property. All right, so we're gonna look around here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so here we are. We see we've got a decent amount of leaves here, all in this bed. All right, there's some more there. Working our way around quite a bit over here. All right, and as we kind of work our way around, a little bit in that bed, the grass is pretty much clear. All right, few over there, not too much, few in that far bed. over there. Back around. So we know this area is our most of our leaves are right in this bed right here. All right, with some being over there and some being in this bed here as well. All right, now whatever our process is, okay, the process is going to be the same no matter if we're just coming through and taking the bulk, or if we're gonna make it look, you know, super clean and take every single leaf. The process is always gonna be the same. So we're going to start by taking the majority of the leaves, okay, like 75% of the leaves out of here. That's our first step. So after that bulk is gone, that's when we're gonna go back through and get the remaining, you know, kind of few leaves that have been floating around and get that even more clean. All right, so to figure that out, again, we need to look at our time. We've got 3 hours to be here. All right, this is just me. So I gotta get all these out of here in 3 hours. So what I would do is in the first 2 hours, I need to get the bulk of the leaves out, and then I'll have a whole nother hour to just get that final sweep and clean everything out, you know, the kind of the leftovers, right? So we always want to get the bulk first, move those out of here, and then we can get the rest. And what we don't want to do is make piles that are so big that they're too hard to move. Okay, you guys have probably been in the situation where you're using your blower and all of a sudden you've got all these leaves that are like 2 feet deep, and you're sitting there, or you've seen someone else do this, and they're blowing this pile and it's not really moving. It's moving like 2 inches in like 30 seconds, okay? We want to avoid that. That's not helpful. That's a waste of time, okay? And just one other thing to remember about doing these jobs. If you guys think that by making them really clean, you're doing a really nice job, you're doing a great job, but we're going over on our hours, okay? That's not a great job. You're actually not doing your job correctly. And it would be nice if we could just bill everyone for all of our time and just do everything the proper way. But the reality is that's not what our clients want. So we have to follow the work order, and do the jobs the way that they're written up, and do the work that we're going to get paid for, and not extra. Okay, if there is extra work, we need to change the work order. We need to talk to the homeowner if they ask us to do something. Those are all different steps. We can get into that later. Okay, we need to follow the hours on the work order. Okay, so I'm going to use this little bed here as an example and show you what we're talking about. All right, so as you can see, we've got this bed. I'm going to take 10 minutes to clear this bed out, okay? So that means that I'm going to take 7 minutes, right? 75% to get the bulk of the leaves out. And then that's going to leave me another 3 to just finish off the rest so it looks nice. All right, so hopefully this makes sense to everybody, but I'm going to give you a little demonstration, kind of what I'm talking about, walk through the steps so that we're all on the same page and we can get this work done on time correctly. So it is 12:06. All right, so that means I need to be 3/4 of the way done in 7 minutes. That's 12:13. All right, let's see what we can do here. Now, I know everyone wants to grab the blowers right away. Sometimes that works, you know, if we have a team, we're working together, that might be a good idea. But one of the best things to do first, when we're just getting these bulk, is to use a regular green soft rake and move them. Let me show you. Here's my bed. All right, 12:09. All right, that took 3 minutes. So I've still got 4 minutes to get these leaves on the tarp and drag them to the truck. All right, so one other thing to think about is where we're working. We want to start near the exit and work our way in that direction, okay? If we start towards the back, they're gonna pile up in those big piles, as I talked about, and we're not gonna be able to have room to get them out. Take the bulk out this way and then come through and get the scraps. All right, so let me grab my tarp. Okay, so one other thing that I really am a fan of is getting these tarps, you know, about halfway full, but to where we can still pull them pretty quickly. And that way you can just walk quickly into the trailer and back out. All right, it doesn't make a lot of sense to fill these up with so many leaves that then it's going to take 3 people to drag it across the lawn. You know, I don't want to hurt my back, so personally I think we just take them in and get back to work instead of dragging, lifting, squatting, flipping them into the trailer, you know, damn near killing yourself, which is going to take maybe more time or the same amount of time as just smaller, quicker loads. Okay, so that's the next step. Got my tarp. I might tie the back up in a knot. Let's do this here. Tie a little knot like so. All right. Run them off. All right. So we're back. All right. Spent 7 minutes. Okay, so now that we've got the bulk out of there, you can see kind of what we're left with. All right, so now's a great time to come through with the blower and just finish this section off. All right, just pretending that this was the whole yard. It was just this one section. Okay, when we're doing the whole yard, we want to do each section like this, getting the bulk out, and then we'll come through and finish it off. All right. All right, got my ear protection, I'm ready to go. All right, so that area is cleared off. I've got one more small little pile I'm gonna throw on the tarp and get it out of here, and that's it. We're on our way. All right, so that's for the, again, imagining that this one little bed was the whole yard. All right, so just to recap, the biggest points of emphasis, all right, whether we're cleaning the whole yard spick and span or we're just taking the bulk of the leaves and moving on our way, the process is always the same. Take the bulk first and then kind of fine clean after that. All right, boom.